What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on the podcast. This is Off the Script, episode 299. We are one episode away from the big 300. I don't got anything planned. It's just a nice round number, man. And all those many years ago when I started the podcast, I did not even think or conceive that I would still be sitting here talking about pro wrestling on YouTube, on Off the Script, with the podcast growing every single day. Opportunities, new opportunities arising every single week. I am so blessed to be here after 300 episodes. I am so grateful to have such a great audience, an engaging audience, a loyal and dedicated audience. Thank you guys so very much. This is episode 299, part number 1 for your Saturday, November 9th. Full gear tonight. Actual good professional wrestling, unlike Monday and Friday with Raw and SmackDown. November 9th, 2019. Speaking of full gear, I will be right here on the channel covering the entire pay-per-view extensively. I will be live tweeting with you guys. The official review will be up later tonight. I will be talking pre-show. I will be talking main card. I will be talking Cody versus Jericho, Moxley versus Omega, Bucks versus Proud and Powerful, and that great triple threat tag team title match. Can't wait for it all. Full gear tonight from Baltimore, Maryland. Should be a great show. Again, I will be on the channel talking about the entire pay-per-view with the official review later tonight. We got a lot to talk about today, this afternoon, man. Off the Script, episode 299. We're going to talk about the ratings for Monday Night Raw. We don't have the ratings for SmackDown yet, but I can assume that they're going to be miserable because the show last night was absolutely god-awful. But I do have the Raw ratings, which were terrible as always, because the show was terrible as always. We got AEW Dynamite and NXT ratings, and this was the most intriguing week as far as ratings go. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. Dynamite beat out NXT in the ratings, but NXT is creeping very, very close to AEW, and we'll go over the breakdowns and what I think WWE has been doing so far with the Survivor Series build, how much I love it, and my thoughts on NXT just kind of going with the flow, man. They're doing their own thing, and I think it's paying off for them in the end. We'll go over that as well as WWE Backstage on FS1, the incredibly low rating where people are saying, oh, the show's going to get canceled. It's not going to get canceled. But the incredibly low rating of WWE Backstage on FS1 was downright embarrassing for WWE and Fox, but there probably is a good reason for the incredibly low rating that the show drew on Tuesday night. I got an extensive injury list and injury report on everybody from Xavier Woods to Samoa Joe to Jeff Hardy to Sami Zayn, and I also have news on Randy Orton, him signing a big deal with WWE. When is Elias coming back? I got it all. Injury report right here on Off the Script. Also, Alexa Bliss, her career may be over. Good. Goodbye. That's all I got to say about that. We'll go over her as well, because I know there are some cretins in the community that can't wait to see Alexa Bliss back on television. If she stayed off television, the shows would be better off for it, but I got news on her. Vince McMahon also rejecting a Randy Orton idea. A Randy Orton idea. Vince McMahon said, nope, I'm not listening to you. We're not doing it. What was the idea and why did Vince McMahon turn it down? I'll go over that as well right here on the podcast. And believe it or not, no, I'm not clickbaiting. No, I am not on drugs. No, I am not drunk. I am very normal this morning. I am actually going to side with Seth Rollins, a.k.a. Seth Rollins, a.k.a. the most dead main roster act in all of WWE right now, the former Universal Champion. I am actually going to defend Seth Rollins and what he did this week because I don't know any other way. I gotta be fair. I gotta be fair when it is deemed right to be fair. Can't really shit on him. So we'll go over that. What did Seth Rollins do this week? What did it lead to? Who did he tweet? What did he say on Twitter? WWE held a backstage meeting that was reportedly awkward after the Saudi Arabian nightmare traveling back to the States. And then it was reported that Seth Rollins held a huge locker room meeting, being that he is the locker room leader on Monday Night Raw. But then, obviously, things got out of hand on social media, and he went off again at the mouth, and he kind of targeted Dave Meltzer. So we're going to go over that and what I think of this entire fiasco coming out of Monday Night Raw right here on the podcast. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. I will be live tweeting during AEW Full Gear tonight. If you guys want my in real-time thoughts and opinions before the actual pay-per-view review, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. It's also a great way to keep up to date on the channel activity as well, at JD from NY206. Follow me on Instagram. I wish I was on there a little bit more, but my life is boring, and I don't really utilize my iPhone 11's camera capabilities. But if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I will certainly appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for that. At JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. That's the most important thing. If you guys want news and rumors 7 days a week, if you guys want official critique that is fair, honest, and truthful of everything that you're seeing weekly when it comes to AEW and WWE, this is the channel for you. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. I would greatly appreciate that as well. If you guys want to check out all the other content that I uploaded on the channel, there's a ton of it, and I know you guys have busy weeks yourself, and you might not have gotten to it yet, but please make sure you guys go and check all that out. I make it very easy for you. Everything I uploaded this week is linked down below in the description of this very video. If you guys want to support me on Patreon, it's not really an obligation. It's not necessary. It's there if you guys want to take advantage of it, but we don't put anything behind paywalls here. We just put it there for you guys to show some extra appreciation, because what I do with this channel 7 days a week and all the work that I put into everything that I do on this channel, if you guys want to show some appreciation, it's there. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And I got two very special sponsors today. One you guys know in Harry's. But today, throughout the show, we are going to be taking little beer breaks. And we're going to be unboxing what I have right here. Let me pick this thing up because it's massive. I have a huge box of craft beer. In this box resides, I don't know how many, but it's fucking heavy, craft beer. Now, I just got recently sponsored for the winter by Tavour. They are an independent craft brew app that you guys can download on your iPhone or Android device. They were gracious enough and kind enough to send me a craft beer care package for the holiday. And we're going to unbox this thing throughout the show. I'm not going to do it in one sitting. We're going to unbox it. We're going to take a little beer break. So I'm going to do some news. We're going to take a beer break. Then we're going to do some news and we're going to go for round 2. And then we're going to go back into the podcast and go for a third round. And then it will be bar closed after that. Should be awesome. Can't wait to show you guys what I got in here. I have not looked at all. I opened it and I wanted to take a little peek inside. And there are plenty of good cans and bottles in there, man. I can't wait to show you guys. So that is Tavour. Thank them for sponsoring the podcast today. And as always, my great friends over at Harry's. Harrys.com/script for your $13 value trial set. Did you guys know that humans have been shaving for thousands of years? And the secret to a great shave? It hasn't changed all that much. You know what the secret is to a great wrestling show? Not doing what Monday Night Raw does every single Monday. Not doing what Friday Night SmackDown does on Fox every Friday. You know, the ancient Greeks didn't need flex balls or heated handles, and neither do you. That's why Harry's doesn't overcharge you to add gimmicky features to their razors. You're not going to see any Lana, Rusev, and Bobby Lashley shit here, man. This is quality stuff. They focus on delivering what actually matters. Sharp, durable blades at a fair price. Now, I love the closeness of the shave. I love the easy glide. I love the fact that I've been using Harry's for 2 years now, and I have not once ever cut myself with their blades. And also, I love that low price. It is absolutely unbeatable. Harry's has returned to the essential. Quality, durable blades at a fair price. They are just $2 per blade. They cut out the middleman. They manufacture blades in their German blade factory that's been honing precision blades for over a century, which means that you guys get incredibly high-quality blades at factory direct prices, and Harry's is super convenient. The blade refills are delivered directly to your door on your schedule with or without a subscription. And guys, the best part is, if you feel like Harry's is not for you, you can try them out. And at the end of the trial, if you don't love your shave, let them know, and they're going to give you a full refund. What you guys are going to get when you use our unique link today on Off the Script, that's harrys.com/script. You're going to get a razor handle with an easy grip, 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, rich lathering shave gel with aloe to keep your skin hydrated, and a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. Or if you're like me and you need to make a good presentation in your bathroom, I got all my Harry's products with the travel blade cover on my razor, just nicely presented on my bathroom sink. Guys, it's simple. Start shaving better today. No better way than Harry's. harrys.com/script. It's been kind of a weekly ritual, man. Every single week when we start the podcast, we talk about the ratings. AEW, NXT, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown on Fox. We're going to do the same thing here because this week, the ratings for all three shows. I don't have SmackDown's rating yet. I'm sure by the time this podcast comes out, SmackDown's dismal rating will have come through, and Dave Meltzer would have reported on it by now. But I love taking a look at the ratings, even though they mean nothing. They mean nothing to me. I do it because it's newsworthy information for the podcast. I watch AEW. I watch NXT weekly. I don't compare the shows. They're both great shows. But it is very interesting to some to see the increase, the decline, the demographics, and all that. So I incorporate it into the show. Now, Monday Night Raw. Let's start off with Monday Night Raw. Awful show as always. Nothing about Monday Night Raw is redeeming in any sense of the word. If you think so, then you're not someone that I would want to converse with on pro wrestling. I think you're just a blithering idiot because you're just fooling yourself. You're trying to convince yourself of something that isn't really there. So Monday Night Raw, they went up against a strong New York Giants versus Dallas Cowboys game on Monday. Raw did a 2.14 million viewer rating on Raw, and that was the fourth lowest non-holiday number in modern history. Awesome. Man, that Lana, Bobby Lashley, Rusev is bringing them in, right? The ratings are really showing a difference with the 8 million viewers that they got for one YouTube video, right? That's 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 3 minutes in length. You think all those 8 million people are going to go watch Monday Night Raw when they can consume this shit in 3 minutes? Give me a break, says the cretin. This is dramatic television. Oh, Rusev's got TV time. He's in a major angle. They're trying to be risque and push the envelope. It's garbage. Stop defending garbage. That's all I got to say to you. I got to put it on a t-shirt some way, somehow. Now, the number was slightly up from last week. I love the fact that it was the fourth lowest non-holiday number in Monday Night Raw history. When I hear those words, it just brings a smile to my face, man. I love it. Absolutely love it. They deserve it. The quality of the TV show shows you the rating. If the show was better, the ratings would be better. It makes sense, right? Common logic. The number was slightly up from the 2.13 million viewers that the show did last week. Now, I know there's probably some blithering idiot on social media, some cretin. But it was up last week. What, that 0.000001 rating? Yeah, I'm sure Lana and Lashley are throwing a fucking parade. The NFL was up 40% last week, or from last week rather, doing 14 million viewers with the Giants-Dallas Cowboys game. So it actually would have been expected to do much worse. Now, Raw usually gets a noticeable bump coming off pay-per-views, and this past week, SmackDown, the day after Crown Jewel, seemed to get the bump. Obviously, because everybody wanted to know what WWE was going to do coming out of Thursday, going on into Friday with no roster. So it was out of sheer curiosity. And then when the show was as great as it was, everybody should have been excited about Monday because we all thought that WWE was going to go in that one particular direction. They tried to, and they failed miserably. Now, SmackDown had their backs against the wall. Usually, WWE operates in a much better way because they have no choice. And normally when they have something planned and they're stuck in their own ways and they're ready to deliver a very formulaic and bland product, right? When they have to go outside their comfort zone, it's usually when we get the better shit. So the sheer curiosity of what they were going to do with pretty much a non-existent roster on SmackDown, drew a 2.5 rating. Monday Night Raw tried to do the same thing with the same level of excitement. Rhode Island shit all over the show because I think, from what I was told and from what people I heard from who were there, that WWE and local radio stations around the area were giving out 3-for-1, 4-for-1 tickets. So it doesn't take a lot for a father of a family to be like, let's buy a ticket and we'll get three free. We'll take the sons, right? We'll take our sons. We'll take the wife, right? And these people don't give a shit about the product, so they're sitting there, hum-de-dum-de-dum. You know, Adam Cole. Why are they putting their hands in the air and saying, baby? You know, you got those fucking idiots in the crowd. They don't know anything. WWE tried to make it seem exciting. Oh my God, we got a Rollins and Adam Cole main event. On paper, it looks fantastic. On paper, it's a main event WrestleMania match. But on Monday Night Raw, it's as if the show is like the black hole. Anything that gets close to Monday Night Raw, if you're in Monday Night Raw, on Monday Night Raw, you're just going to get sucked in. You're going to get the life sucked out of you. It sucks every ounce of excitement and intrigue out of the fan or the pro wrestler. Because just look at the way the match came off. It looked terrible. Now, Adam Cole was on Friday, SmackDown with Daniel Bryan. That looked like it was ready for a takeover main event. That crowd was into it. It just seemed real and organic and natural. Monday Night Raw tried to do the same thing, and it just fell flat. It felt forced. They tried to dip into the cookie jar again, but this time, instead of pulling out a fresh cookie that was delicious and crunchy, they bit into this thing and was hard as a rock. It was stale, and WWE failed. Now, Raw finished 4th behind only football-related programming in the 18 to 49 demographic on cable. Overall, it was the 12th show of the night, coming in 12th place, beating everything but news and NFL-related programming on cable. It was down 12% from the same week last year. Yeah, great. Where are those viewers going? Where's that 12% going? The show with Ronda Rousey on Fox 911 did 6.08 million viewers, trailing only Dancing with the Stars and The Voice on network television. I don't know who watches that garbage, but God bless you. The bad news was the first to third hour drop of 22%. That was one of the biggest in Raw history as far as drops. As far as where the drop came from, it was 23% in women 18 to 49, 21% in men 18 to 49, and 3% with teenage girls, 19% with teenage boys, and 18% with the old geezers over 50 years old. I love me some senior citizens. Don't worry. I'm only joking around. Oh, he's so mean. Yeah, I'm mean to Edith, right? She don't even know I'm alive. She's too busy getting her husband Henry a big bowl of prunes and some oatmeal in the morning. And then they're getting ready for bed at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because it's starting to get dark a little earlier. They don't know. Anyway, the show was built on Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins for the NXT title. Rollins showed you why he is absolutely one of the most boring individuals in the entire WWE company on either roster. That was in the main event. The third hour was the least watched hour Raw had, beating only hour 3 this past Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, which were taped shows. So the 3 hours were as following. 8 p.m. drew 2.36, 9 p.m. 2.21, and then that glorious 10 p.m. hour where everybody kind of makes a determination that this show sucks. Now, I know the show sucks every week, but this is a lot. Look at the drop. 8 p.m. did 2.36, and hour 3, that 10 o'clock hour, did 1.85 million viewers. Yeah, man, Rollins is really burning it down. The ratings are burning down to the ground on Monday night. I love it. I love it. Goes to show you that the show, especially in that third hour, the show overall sucks, but that third hour is absolutely embarrassing television. I would not want to sit there and watch. I have to. If I didn't have to, I would not even at all conceive a thought about watching Monday Night Raw. So those are the Raw ratings. god-awful as usual, and I'm already hearing from fans of Off the Script in the UK that were actually at the tapings. JD, if you thought SmackDown, this is word for word what they told me. JD, if you thought SmackDown was bad, wait till you get a load of Monday Night Raw. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait. I'm already raging on the inside, just by the thought of it. Now, AEW Dynamite and NXT ratings on Wednesday. Dynamite defeats NXT again in the ratings, but NXT is creeping very, very close to Dynamite. Now, the battle between AEW and Dynamite, the gap has been the closest it's ever been this week. Among live and same-night DVR viewers, AEW drew 822,000 viewers. NXT drew 813,000 viewers. That gap of just 9,000 viewers is down from 179,000 last week. Now, AEW, look at this based on the numbers. They had a lead on the debut episode in viewers. They beat NXT by 518,000. 10-9 the next week. They beat AEW did NXT by 350,000 viewers. 10-16, their lead dwindled to 302,000. 10-23, their lead declined again to 265,000. The night before Halloween Eve, their lead declined again to 179,000 over NXT. Now, in terms of actual cable rating, which is measured slightly differently rather than total number of people watching in total for a small or long stretch of time, it measures minute-by-minute percentages of total possible viewers with cable, so it rewards shows whose viewers watch for a longer period of time. NXT beat AEW by a 0.62 to 0.58 margin. This story has been developing for weeks, but it solidified a major concern for All Elite Wrestling this week. Last week, AEW went up against Game 7 of the World Series. So did NXT. But the bounce back from where they were 2 weeks ago wasn't great. They dropped 204,000 from October 23rd to October 30th, then regained only 63,000 of those viewers this week. When SmackDown was bounced from Fox from the World Series, they moved to FS1. They lost 2/3 of their viewers, but the next week, back on the usual channel, actually regained more viewers than they lost. Now, that I honestly think if WWE put on the show that we got last night on last week's SmackDown, it wouldn't have been that way. I think out of sheer curiosity, coming out of Crown Jewel, because it was such a big developing story, people were making shit up that the WWE roster was held hostage and the Saudi government got involved, the military got involved and detained them. And everybody was wondering what was going on with that situation. How are they going to handle SmackDown? How are they going to book SmackDown? What are they going to do with everything that they had advertised? How are they going to change it? I think out of sheer curiosity and with everybody kind of tweeting it out on social media in the hours leading up to SmackDown, you had Morrow tweeting out NXT to the rescue. There was just a lot of interest and curiosity on how WWE would handle this and book a SmackDown show with 90% of their roster not even there. So I'm not even taking that into consideration because WWE went right back to what they usually do, giving us garbage on this Friday's episode last night, and I can almost guarantee you the rating is going to be down from the 2.5. So that number means nothing to me. AEW drew 1.832 million viewers on week 1, 1.409 million on the live airing, and 423,000 on the replay. They're down 587,000 viewers, 41% for their live show in just 6 weeks, which is not likely breeding confidence within AEW or TNT that they've done things as well as they could to hook viewers. It could be seen as a sign to reevaluate some of their assumptions, although the real time to get this right was the first 3 weeks when they had more than 1 million viewers and a chance to introduce their new wrestlers to a national audience. Now, listen, I don't think AEW is doing anything wrong. I really don't. Neither is NXT. They're not doing anything wrong. These shows, compared to Monday and Friday, are blowing Monday and Friday out of the water. I don't know what it is. I don't understand. I honestly think it comes down to people being that stupid. I really do. I honestly really do think it comes down to people being fucking stupid. How could you justify watching Monday night and Friday night, which is complete garbage, that insults your intelligence. WWE mocks you at every twist and turn. They pretty much shit all over you every single week. Yet you go out and weekly watch that show. Meanwhile, you got two shows who want to give you a sports-driven product that wants to come off as real and sports authentic. And it makes sense. There's story there. There's storylines there. There's logic there. There's continuity there. There's characters there. There's in-ring action that's there. It's just a better environment. Lively environment on both shows compared to Monday and Friday that are just dead. It's a dead program. It boggles my mind how people go out and watch these shows but then refuse to watch AEW Dynamite and NXT. It's just unbelievable to me. So, meanwhile, NXT, getting back on track here, NXT more than regained the lost viewers from last week. 2 weeks ago, the show drew 698,000 viewers, then dropped to 580, then rebounded to 813,000 viewers this week. Total viewership for the live premiere of both AEW and NXT 2 weeks ago was 1.661 million viewers. This week, it was nearly identical at 1.635 million. What that says is almost everyone who watched the World Series last week, instead of pro wrestling, returned to pro wrestling this week, but a lot of people switched from AEW to NXT. NXT had the advantage of angles on both SmackDown and Raw that involved NXT wrestlers, which introduced NXT wrestlers to a larger audience, and also conveyed to SmackDown and Raw viewers that some SmackDown and Raw wrestlers were likely to show up on NXT this week. Combining that with the intriguing Finn Balor jump to NXT and his heel turn, NXT had a lot going for it. Whether AEW can get those viewers back will be something to watch in the next couple of weeks. Now, Triple H and WWE had a lot going on this week. In fact, with the roster getting stuck over in Saudi Arabia, it actually benefited WWE for what they did on SmackDown for 1 week only, and it benefited what was going to happen on Wednesday. When you introduce those guys to a larger audience, and more people than normal are going to watch the show out of sheer curiosity, who don't know who a Matt Riddle is, or a Keith Lee, or an Adam Cole, or a Tommaso Ciampa, or Bianca Belair, or a Shayna Baszler, right? And Triple H has picked these particular people to put on this show. It's not like he picked fucking just a random NXT talent. He strategically picked who he thought was going to benefit most from this for the Survivor Series build, and he picked those who were going to help SmackDown draw a great rating the best. So when you see those types of characters on this show, and you're in the middle of a Survivor Series build where Triple H is already on camera, not once but twice, stating that, well, I heard you guys wanted a war, and then comes out at the end of SmackDown on Friday last week and says, well, if you guys want a war, you know where to find us on Wednesday nights. Obviously, the people watching that show, I wish it was more people, because, again, I don't understand how you're watching that show and not watching NXT. NXT's viewership should be in the 1.5 million range, in my honest opinion. They did a great job to get you, whoever you are watching the main roster, to go watch NXT based off what is happening with the Survivor Series build. Adding NXT to the Survivor Series build was, yes, different. It's great for the fans because we're going to get dream matchups that we really aren't prone to seeing in WWE. We're getting those matches early instead of having these individuals, men and women, be plucked from NXT and put on the main roster and wait for a dream matchup with Shayna and Becky and, Roderick Strong and AJ Styles and shit like that, right? Adam Cole versus whomever. They've put him against everybody. Now it's all happening at one time in the Survivor Series. Whether it's a triple threat match that they got advertised or a 5-on-5-on-5, which is ridiculous. It's exciting. And if you're a fan of the main roster, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, guys like that, maybe Seth Rollins has been included in this, maybe you thought he was going to show up on NXT. Again, it's a mixture of curiosity and who you like on the main roster. You're going to go out of your way to go watch to see if they show up on NXT. WWE strategically did this, and they knew what they were doing. They included NXT in the Survivor Series build because, whether you want to admit it or not, I don't think Triple H is really giving a shit about the ratings. NXT is going to be safe regardless, whatever they do. But it was a gamble, and WWE opened the door for a larger audience to know and understand what NXT is all about, which in turn is going to give them a better chance to find them on Wednesday nights. This was very strategic. They did this with a purpose. NXT being added to the Survivor Series is not being done for the fans. It's not being done to give us dream matches on Survivor Series weekend. This was done merely to get NXT in front of a larger audience so that they could hopefully close the gap with AEW. WWE knows that AEW is slowly declining. Whether that's interest, whether that is just burnout, I don't know. Whether that's something else on TV that's generating more interest and you come back to AEW on DVR or a replay, I don't know. But the reason why NXT was put in the Survivor Series was not because of us. It's not because NXT is cool and they're better than the main roster and WWE all of a sudden now wants to cater to their fan base and give us what we want. They were put there for this reason, and it's paying off. So I can't really shit on that because we're getting what we want, and WWE is getting what they want, which is the closing of the gap between AEW and NXT. Can't really shit on it. It's a great idea, and it's working out for them. That's why NXT's ratings have been through the roof. That's why the jump from last week to this week was so prominent and so big. Now, I don't know if it's going to stay that way. What happens after the Survivor Series? We don't know. But we can now expect when WWE has things like this, when WWE wants to integrate, build and invasions and maybe someone from NXT show up on Monday Night Raw, whatever the case may be, or someone from Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live show up on NXT, it's going to be the same thing that you see here. What happens after the Survivor Series? This could be temporary. AEW could go right back to doing what they do after Full Gear. We could go back to AEW nearing 1 million viewers on Wednesday after the Full Gear build. Maybe everybody was in the mode of, well, I understand what's going on for Full Gear. I'm already invested. There's not really much that AEW can do to get me invested in Full Gear. Let's wait till Full Gear. Let's watch Full Gear. Let's come back Wednesday and see what they do building towards their next pay-per-view and the fallout from Full Gear. So it's going to be one of those situations where, again, it's wait and see. Maybe everybody watching AEW on Wednesday is not going to be watching Full Gear, and they're going to tune in to find out what happened on Full Gear on Wednesday. There's a lot of different variables. So you really can't pinpoint, one is declining and one is increasing because NXT's better than AEW. No! They're both great shows. They've both been consistently great. But the thing with NXT is, they've never really made it about the ratings, where they came out and they went against their formula and they just overloaded the shows with wrestling and wrestling and wrestling and wrestling. Triple H wanted to introduce you to everything that they have all at one time. As the show went on and we got more consistency and more continuity and storylines began to develop into war games, that's when we started to see the NXT of old. Now I'm not so much against the 2 hours. I love the 2 hours. I think it's working for them. They're booking the show not much differently than they did at 1 hour. It's just expanded to 2. And honestly, Triple H has showed us that he's not really paying attention to the ratings. He's just doing what NXT has been doing. And that is telling stories. They have everything there. I've been an NXT fucking lifer for the last 6 years. You guys know how much I love NXT. I've praised NXT. I even went on record to say everything about NXT is superior to AEW. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Everything from production to commentary to in-ring to the way that they do things, character, storytelling. I'm always going to side with NXT. Always. And the funny thing is, a lot of people look at me and they go on other channels and other channels are fucking hyping and talking and begging AEW for jobs, right? Meanwhile, I do something and I'm always fucking criticized for it. When I praise AEW, I'm always the one who's a dick rider and a dick sucker and a cocksucker, and I'm begging AEW for a job. But there are other people in the community who are fucking 10 times worse than I am. Blatant at it. Clout chasers. It's like, I say something good about AEW, and I'm the one looking for a job. Motherfucker, I have something to tell you. If I get hired by AEW, and that's a big if I get hired by AEW, it's not because of what I do on a fucking YouTube video. It's gonna be because I showed my talent and my worth through either a creative direction on House of Glory, or my commentary on House of Glory, or my personality on camera when I'm on pay-per-view doing a House of Glory show going into 2020. It's not going to be because of what I do here on the podcast. Get that off of your fucking mind. You're an idiot when you start spewing, oh, JD's a cocksucker, he's begging for a job with AEW. I can't praise AEW for a good show. I gotta be fucking talking good about the show, and then I gotta be blasted about wanting a job? Give me a break. It's good wrestling. It's good wrestling on AEW and NXT, but NXT is far superior in everything that they do over AEW. And if NXT beats AEW in the ratings, I'm not going to be surprised. That's the way it should have been the entire time. NXT has never gave a shit about the ratings. Ever. Ever. Yes, this is a Vince McMahon move. Yes, the thought of moving NXT out of Full Sail is definitely something that has been brewing in Vince McMahon's mind. It definitely has to do with the spirit of competition. But has NXT ever made mention of AEW on their TV? Has NXT done everything differently, gone out there and fucking pushed the envelope? Or tried to one-up AEW in terms of what they're doing on their TV show? No. They have been doing everything that they've always been doing. Nothing's changed. Oh, Finn Balor here, or an AJ Styles there. This is why they did include NXT in the Survivor Series. For this. If you think, again, this was not strategically done, you're a clown. WWE and Triple H knows what they are doing. AEW had a huge advantage among 18 to 34 males on week 1 at a 0.73 to a 0.23. That lead is gone. NXT tied AEW with a 0.32 rating in both demos this week. They also tied last week with 0.28 ratings. It was a 4-1 lead 2 weeks ago, 0.52 to 0.12, and a 2-1 lead this week, which was a 0.43 to a 0.21. They were basically tied in other key demos, with AEW having a lead among all adults 18 to 49 and a small lead amongst 18 to 49 males. So that is that. I love both shows. I put this in the podcast because I want to have you guys understand the reasons, possibly, from my eyes to you, about what the ratings increase and the decrease is. Both shows are great. Just enjoy them for what they are. I'm excited for NXT. I think they've done a brilliant job with the NXT shows and the NXT talent, mostly on the WWE main roster and what they've been doing to build towards Survivor Series. Monday Night Raw and this week's SmackDown, lost causes, garbage. But Wednesday has been great. Wednesday has been consistently great. I've been loving NXT, and they are right back to doing what they usually do best. And AEW is delivering consistent television. Now, a lot of people said I thought, the show on Wednesday was dull. I didn't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that there wasn't as much as what I seen in the previous weeks. We've got everything we need as far as build for Full Gear. So it did come off a little dull compared to what I seen the last couple of weeks. I never said it was a bad show. Everybody's claiming that I thought it was a bad show. Come on. And then I got people telling me, well, you said AEW was dull, I'm not watching you anymore. It's like, if I say something bad or critique something about AEW, people aren't going to watch. If I say that about NXT, then they get mad at me over there. I can't win. Let me do my job and let me critique the shows. Whether you agree with me or not is beside the point. I am here for both shows. I'm a fan of both shows. I love what both shows are doing. Just keep it at that. If I can't critique the fucking show, then why am I even doing this? Why am I doing this? I give you my interpretation of what I watch through my eyes and ears, and I give it to you. If you agree with me or not, whatever. But for the simple fact that you're not going to watch me because I prefer NXT over AEW or I thought AEW was dull this week is just downright ridiculous. Ridiculous. Get over yourselves. WWE Backstage. This is another rating that came in that everybody shit all over. WWE Backstage gave their premiere on FS1 this Tuesday. I was watching. I seen Ryan Satin, left, and fell asleep. PW Insider reports that WWE Backstage drew 49,000 viewers on Tuesday. I'm not lying. It's not a typo. I didn't miss a zero there. 49,000 viewers on FS1. Now, to be fair, they went on at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. How many of you got to be up for work early the next day? Why would you even go out of your way? Why would you lose sleep over WWE Backstage? And then WWE, to get you, and they did themselves no favors here, WWE hyped and clickbaited the audience that Bray Wyatt was going to be on the show. We got a Firefly Funhouse segment with him supposedly revealing a new Universal title. When people tuned in and they did not see a new Universal title, but the only thing that was changed on the previous title that Rollins had and ruined was Bray Wyatt added nameplates to this one. Yes, that is going to make me jump out of my bed and sit on my living room couch and watch WWE Backstage when I got to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready for work. Are you fucking serious? WWE doesn't give a shit about any of you. They clickbaited you so badly They clickbaited you worse than a fucking old school Call of Duty commentator looking for a tips and tricks fucking video. Give me a break. Compare that to the preview episode on October 25th, which received 426,000 viewers. That's not a great comparison at all. That is downright embarrassing. The show didn't even list in the top 150 shows of the night on cable. How many of those people, you're telling me that out of 426,000, you watched this show and what the basis of the show was going to be and the formula of this show was going to be, all those people, out of 426,000, only 49,000 viewers made it to the show and thought, well, this is worth my time. I'm going to watch this when it premieres on November 5th. That is awful. Now, to be fair, I had to put it in the notes. The WWE Backstage preview episodes, they had the World Series and the ALCS games kind of lead in to those. So they had nice lead-ins. So the people watching, the many millions watching those games, realize, well, it's sports, it's WWE, let's keep it on. Let me see what this is about. So that is something to keep an eye on. Now, the time that WWE Backstage is on might have caused an issue as well. 11 p.m., like I said, on a Tuesday. You're either not really giving a shit about it completely at all, or you got to be up for work very early in the morning. And who's going to sit there on 11 p.m. on Tuesday? I didn't even go out of my way to watch it. I watched the replay. I did what I had to do. I played some Destiny. I went on my living room couch to lay down, and I turned it on. I was flipping through the channels. I seen WWE Backstage. I'm like, let me see what this is about. And then I see Ryan Satin with a fucking terrible comb over, and he's just smiling like a fucking goofball. It's awful. It was absolutely awful. Talking about Randy Orton and breaking news about his contract. This is who they get. Thanks for making me tune out immediately when I seen Ryan Satin. So, we'll see how it goes. We're going to monitor it. If it's a consistent thing, then yeah, WWE's in trouble. So we'll see what happens with that. 49,000 viewers on their debut. Can't be a good sign for WWE Backstage. And I think at this point, I honestly do think that the higher-ups at Fox are talking amongst themselves. We got ourselves into a 5-year shit relationship with these people. And look at the fucking garbage that they're producing. They're not producing as well as we expected. This is a waste of money. The WWE product is dead. There's no interest. And you think by doing this and bringing back some fucking breaking down the fourth wall type bullshit and breaking kayfabe and being a little bit more realistic is going to happen overnight? WWE should have been having the wheels in motion, but they refuse to change. You haven't even changed now that you're on Fox. So why would you expect people to go out of their way and change their viewing habits when it comes to you? You haven't even showed anything about change, yet you want us to watch your show. It's the same shit that we've seen on the USA Network, and if that, worse than what we've seen on the USA Network. Injury report. WWE expects Xavier Woods back from injury. He is going to be back, but it's going to be a very long time before we see Xavier Woods back in the new day. Xavier Woods was wrestling at an Australian house show with the WWE when he went down with an injury. He wasn't even performing anything risky, but shooting off the ropes caused his Achilles tendon to tear. This injury could have simply been an issue of wear and tear. Xavier Woods doesn't really seem like someone who's really injury prone, so it was one of those freak accidents. It can happen to anyone. Xavier Woods almost had immediate surgery as soon as he got back to the States to fix the problem. He's now recuperating. Woods is out of action and doing a lot of video game streaming on Up, Up, Down, Down. That's a great thing for him, being that he's out with injury. He could still benefit from being in the public spotlight with WWE. He's still making them money. He's not home just going through the motions and being depressed about sitting at home. He could still interact with his fellow colleagues. He could do what he loves. So Xavier Woods, even though he's going to be off TV and away from the New Day and major storylines, the fact that he's got Up, Up, Down, Down, when shit like this arises, is an absolute blessing. So obviously that's going to get a big focus. He's going to get a big focus over there. He has plenty of time to prepare for his return. PW Insider reports that the backstage expectation of Xavier Woods is that he will be out until SummerSlam. So that is a huge chunk of time that Xavier Woods is going to be out. Internally, Xavier Woods is not expected back until the summer of 2020 at the earliest for his Achilles heel injury. Now, that is, if you're a New Day fan, very disheartening to hear, but the New Day just won the tag team titles for the 7th time. So, fuck the Revival. FTR. Literally. Guys, we're going to get right back into the injury report here, but it's time for round one. I got to serve you guys cold beverages. I know you're here for the cold beverages, and I know I am, but I can't drink them because they're only at room temperature right now. But we're going to open at least some of this care package from Tavor.com. I can't wait to dive in here. So let me get myself situated. We'll be right back. I want to get myself to a point where I could kind of rummage through this and really present to you guys. There might be some paperwork in there. But don't go anywhere. We're going to have a round here on Off the Script. So we're going to open this box right now from Tavor.com. Oh, man, I'm excited. I got cans of beer. I got pints sitting next to me to my left, man. 16 glorious fluid ounces of what I can't wait to open up, man. I'm so excited. So, Tavor, let me tell you about Tavor. Tavor is an app that you guys can download on your Android or iPhone devices. It's one of the best beer apps that you could possibly ever find. Shipped right to your doorstep. You can get craft beer, as much craft beer as you want, delivered right to your front door. Now, it is independently owned. 100% independent. You're going to find some of the best independent breweries on this thing, no question. 7,000 plus beers at your fingertips. 675 plus breweries are a part of this thing. And as a special deal for everybody listening to Off the Script, you guys, if you love craft beer as much as I do, and you need something for the holidays to keep yourself warm on those cold, cool winter nights, make sure you guys check this out, man. You're going to spend $25 or more. You're going to use my code SCRIPT, and you're going to get $10 credited to your first order, and it's going to be shipped right to your front door, man. I absolutely love it. I've been using Tavor for most of this year, and some of the newest and my favorite beers have been found on Tavor. We're going to do it here again today, and I'm going to unleash some absolutely amazing flavors right here. So I opened the box, and I got a Tavor card, as you see here. Hello, Beer Mail Delivery. Thank you for helping connect independent breweries with your followers, which, by the way, guys, also, if you brew beer, you could sell your beer on Tavor as well, so keep an eye out for that as well. We appreciate your support and hope you enjoy these craft brews hand-picked just for me. Awesome. Signed Tavor. There you guys see that. There you go. And I got a little piece of paper here that says nothing. It says nothing at all. Just a couple of words here. To Jerry from Ashley. There you go. Ashley was the representative that helped me. She was incredibly nice in helping picking out these beers. I gave her my flavor profiles. I told her what some of my favorite beers were, and she based the selection off of what I usually drink. So, there you go. I asked for something with more of a holiday theme, some sours, some fruits, and some Christmas beers. And we got a whole box of them. Let's see. We got SoQuell. Never heard of them before. Fermentation Project. American Wild. Number 4 with Blackberry. This one is a wild ale aged in oak barrels with blackberries. Look at that. Oh my goodness, man. The one thing I love, really, is a beautiful can of beer. You know, I'm seeing a lot more beers in cans. I think it's a trend, honestly. I usually thought cans and beer were like, stay away from cans. You know, it's about the bottle, right? And I'm seeing more and more cans, but when I see cans, I love the design on a can. Now, this one isn't too crazy, but, I mean, the colors and the artwork on the can, I love a great designed, beautiful can of beer that really, you can tell by looking at it that the artwork and the artist who did it put a lot of effort into it, man. I absolutely love it. So we got 2 of these. They gave me 2 of these, so that's that. We got one here. I can't wait to try this one. This one is right up my alley, man. This one is called Berry Necessary. There you go. Yeah, it's Berry Necessary. I have one right now. Blackberry, blueberry, strawberry, sour ale. Bro, I'm getting chills just thinking about how good this tastes. Look at that. Look at that. That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. This is from Dubco. There you go. Never heard of them before, but man, you got the flavors right up JD's alley. They sent me 4 of this next one, and this will be the last one that we're having for this particular session. I'll be back in a little bit because there's always a round 2 when you're around me. This one is the Black Project. This one, I got 4 of these ones. They gave me 4 of these ones in particular. They must think I'm gonna like this one. This one is a spontaneous and wild ale. Now, this one is from Hop Light. This one is 4.5% alcohol. Let me see the other one's alcohol content. Does it say? It's always a very important aspect to me. 6.7 for the fermentation project. So that's that one. And the Berry Necessary. It's Berry Necessary. I opened this right now. 5.4 alcohol content. This one is what was this? What was this? This one was a 4.5. So it's light. This one is from Hop Light. There you go. Very simple can and design with what looks to be a paper airplane. Spontaneous wild ale. Folks, this one is a cryo-hopped sour wheat with blood orange. Ooh. Cryo-hopped sour. You sold me at the cryo-hopped. I'm not a big fan of blood orange, but there are some blood oranges that I wouldn't mind drinking. So that's that, man. We got this first round completed. If you guys enjoyed anything that you've seen here, Tavor. I'll be pushing them for the rest of the show. Tavor.com. You guys spend $25 or more, you're going to get a $10 credit back towards your purchase. And if you guys use the code SCRIPT, you guys will have that available immediately. This is not going to last forever. This is a temporary thing for the winter. Make sure you guys go out there and check out Tavor. If you're into craft beer like I am, this is a beer connoisseur's dream, man. Tavor.com. Support them. Thank them for supporting Off the Script. Let's get back into the news and rumors. I got much more injury updates on Jeff Hardy, Elias, Sami Zayn, and one Samoa Joe returning to Monday Night Raw, which we desperately need. Like I desperately need this Berry Necessary. We desperately need Samoa Joe back on Monday Night Raw because he is one of the few guys in that company that brings a sense of legitimacy to their programming. So I'm going to clean this up. We'll get right back into it right here on Off the Script. All right, man, right back into the news. According to Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful.com, WWE is not planning on bringing back Jeff Hardy to either Raw or SmackDown. I'm not surprised by this. I'm really not surprised by this. In fact, I feel even now worse off for Matt Hardy. Jeff is the one who ruined a lot of what's going on with the Hardy Boys right now. He's ruining Matt's career. Or he is not really ruining his career. He's putting a hold on Matt Hardy's career because WWE doesn't find any value in the broken gimmick. They don't. They ran through it with Bray Wyatt, and that's that. They don't have any more use for it on WWE television. Now, with Jeff, they found the value in both Hardy brothers being together. Their value was in the Hardy Boys. Their value was in the tag team division. Now, Jeff is a victim of his own demons. Everything that's happening to Jeff is Jeff's fault. The public intoxications, the drinking, the driving with a revoked license, the arguments back and forth with his wife, the fight that he got into with his wife. This is all Jeff Hardy's fault. If you don't think WWE, they even said so themselves in their very simplistic PR comment on social media. Well, Jeff Hardy is responsible for his own actions. Thus, what that means is that when Jeff Hardy is ready, and he may never be ready to come back, but when he is ready and WWE deems him ready to come back, if you don't think they're going to add all this time back to his contract or on top of his existing contract, guy's going to be in jail for the next 2 years. He's going to be in the WWE for the next 2 years. Matt's contract is up after WrestleMania. WWE hasn't used Matt. WWE hasn't used Matt for one reason or another. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to use him. Maybe they don't have any plans for him, which is always the case. They don't have plans for anybody. Their creative sucks. Or is it they're keeping Matt off television because they want everybody to forget about Matt? They want everybody to forget about broken Matt and his broken brilliance. That could be the case, very much so. Now, Matt has been taking to his YouTube channel. Been uploading videos, and he's been kind of teasing what he wants to do. The broken gimmick is coming back, Senor Benjamin, and everything revolving around the broken universe. it could be a situation where Matt is doing this to pretty much keep himself in the public spotlight and generate interest from wrestling fans, because he does indeed plan on leaving WWE after his contract is up to go to AEW. I honestly think Matt Hardy as his broken gimmick. Matt Hardy himself is 50% of the value that the Hardy Boys are. If he goes to AEW, you don't think people are going to follow Matt Hardy over to AEW? You don't think Matt wants to go to AEW? I think he does. I think he'll be treated with great respect over there, and they're not going to stifle his creative freedom. I think we'll see it. I really do. I think Jeff is just prolonging the inevitable here. Matt's gone, and Jeff's going to be in WWE. Matt may be without his brother for a couple of years. And WWE is not planning on bringing him back because of his demons. Now, according to Fightful, while he may be cleared to wrestle, he was supposed to come back in November from his injury, from his knee injury. There are no plans for any kind of return to the ring due to the fact that Jeff needs time away to deal with his personal issues. Fightful says this, and I quote, "Despite being expected back in November, Jeff Hardy is not listed for a return as he's taking care of personal issues." End quote. That's that. That's that. I honestly do think that we're going to see Broken Matt in AEW. That is my prediction. And if it happens, hey, I hope it does happen for his sake. And I honestly think that with the broken gimmick coming out of Impact and then being put in the WWE world, they never really appreciated it. They never let it breathe. They never let it grow. They never let it just creatively evolve with Matt. He was always stifled by one of 40 fucking writers and then Vince McMahon, right? As soon as Vince McMahon got a hold of how popular that gimmick was, he needed to change it and tweak it and do this and model it in a WWE way. Meanwhile, Matt's vision, nothing wrong with it. There was nothing wrong with Matt's vision ever. He's not going to have that problem in AEW. I honestly think he's gone by the end of WrestleMania season. Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe cleared. And by the way, going back to that Jeff Hardy situation, even if they were back on TV with the Hardy Boys, I mean, what were they going to do? Have a go-around with the New Day every single fucking week? There's no tag teams in the division for them to compete against. Like WWE gives a shit about tag team wrestling. This is probably better off for Matt Hardy. Samoa Joe, someone who should have been a champion in WWE, or a major champion, I should say, not a United States champion for the sake of nothing. Joe has been out of action for several weeks. It was revealed he has a broken thumb. Now, he has been on the kickoff panels. If you guys have been watching those shows, I don't know why you would. And he does a very good job at doing that, I think. I think he's very legit. He comes off in a very professional way. He knows what he's talking about. I think he could have a life in that role after WWE. When he was injured, he was a part of Raw. But when he left undrafted in the recent WWE draft, he could end up on SmackDown when he eventually returns. Now, I don't know. I think Paul Heyman is a big Samoa Joe guy, so I would not be surprised if he ends up on Monday Night Raw. Now, speaking of which, Fightful reports, both of these reports came from Fightful, the Jeff Hardy and the Samoa Joe one. Fightful Select reports that WWE's internal injury list has Joe down for returning in December of 2019, although this does not mean he will get put straight back into the storylines. But they say, and I quote, "Samoa Joe is listed as returning in December. This is hardly a guarantee." I think he needs to be on the shows because Samoa Joe, every time he grabs a microphone, every time he's on the show, he just brings a sense of legitimacy. Fans respect him. They appreciate him. And I think we need that type of feel on either Raw or SmackDown. I really do. So we'll see what happens with Samoa Joe. I, for one, want him back on television. I'm a big fan of Samoa Joe, as you guys know if you've been listening to me. Sami Zayn, he has not been wrestling on WWE TV. There's a reason for that. And I mentioned this briefly on the SmackDown review on Friday. Now, despite taking some bumps, Sami Zayn's time in the ring has been minimal, but according to Dave Meltzer, he is still suffering from shoulder surgery, or a shoulder injury that he did have surgery on. He says, and I quote, "Zayn has been having trouble with his shoulders in recent months, which is why he's been wrestling less and been managing more with Nakamura. But we're told he's okay and now can wrestle, but this is the role they have him in." End quote. I don't think WWE wants Sami Zayn to wrestle. I don't think they find any value in Sami Zayn at all. I think they find more value in him being a spokesperson and a great promo. And honestly, do we really want to see Sami Zayn in the ring? Because it's only going to end up with us complaining again. We all love Sami Zayn. We all want Sami Zayn to be what he should be in WWE. And if you don't think Sami Zayn is talented, you're a fucking fool. I think he's awesome. But he hasn't really won a match. I don't even think he's won a match. Can someone do the research for me? Because I'm too lazy. I'm just going to assume he hasn't won a match since he's come back from the original injury. Now, this is a complication of the injury. When he came back, I don't think he's won a match. I honestly don't think he's won a match. He underwent shoulder surgery last year, so it's less serious, but it's been a little, I guess, stressful for him with the complications. Now, he was one of very few of the superstars to not make Saudi Arabia for the recent Crown Jewel show. I don't think he's made one show, period. Now, it is thought that his Syrian heritage and Syria's unfriendly relationship with Saudi Arabia is the reason he hasn't appeared on any of the shows, which I'm assuming is the reason. I would be mostly positive to think that's the reason. They're not going to put him in jeopardy. They're not going to put his life in jeopardy, and there's no reason for him to go over there anyway, because he's going to end up like one of those other losers that ends up in a battle royal. He gets eliminated for 5 seconds. Meanwhile, I'm putting my life on the line to go to this fucking country that's feuding with my home country, and my life is in jeopardy for a fucking 5-second spot elimination in a battle royal that means nothing. Now, I love him in this role. I really do. I think he's awesome, and to be honest with you, he's been some of the best moments on SmackDown, period, where there have been no moments. So, I would love to see him wrestle, but I would rather him not wrestle, because WWE's not going to utilize him correctly. I could definitely see Sami Zayn being one of those guys, eventually over time, if Triple H has something for him, to come back down to NXT and just kind of revitalize that through his career, you know? Revitalize his career through NXT. I think that would be perfect. He was formerly the heart and soul of NXT. I'd love to see Sami Zayn come back as a heel and have a program with Johnny Gargano, the old heart and soul, versus Johnny Wrestling, who is now the face of NXT. That's what I would love. I think that would be fucking fantastic. Develop a program. Johnny Gargano's got nothing to do right now. He's not going to be the NXT champion anytime soon. That's going right to Tommaso Ciampa. And who knows, they might actually get Matt Riddle involved with that eventually. So Finn Balor's going to be in that. He's down there for the long haul. I'd love to see Sami Zayn come down and develop something in 2020 with Johnny Gargano. The old heart and soul versus the current heart and soul. I think that would be fantastic for a takeover. Just like he did with Nakamura. Look how great that match ended up. He could do the same thing for Johnny. Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss. Is her career over? Let's hope so. So, she was scheduled for an appearance at the Ringside Fest in New York City, where we seen a bunch of clout chasers go out there and try and troll Seth Rollins. And then other idiots in the community started making videos dissecting Grimm's fucking interaction with Seth Rollins. More clout chasers, as always. You know, everybody wants to chase that clout for their dying channels. But they announced that she was pulled from an appearance due to personal reasons. Now, Becky Lynch was announced as her replacement, so I'm assuming that made fans very happy. I would much rather see Becky Lynch than Alexa Bliss anyway. I don't know about you guys. Bliss has not commented on her absence from WWE live events. She don't really give a shit. She doesn't do anything in the ring. She don't give a shit about anything she does in the ring. Why would she give a shit about this? She's home relaxing now from other enhancements. WWE usually states on their website whenever one of their performers is out with an injury, but they did not do so this time. Now, PW Insider's reporting that she's dealing with a shoulder injury. From what? Did she reach in the fucking cupboard and grab a coffee cup? What shoulder injury? Did she injure herself pouring a cup of coffee? Did she injure herself going into the refrigerator to get the cream for said coffee? What did she do to injure her shoulder? She's not even in the fucking ring. And when she's in the ring, she does nothing to begin with. What injury? You guys have to be fucking mental if you believe that this woman is injured. Now, I was tipped off, and I was tipped off big time to expect this to happen. My guy told me, don't be surprised when Alexa Bliss goes out with quote-unquote injury. Here we go. More cover-ups for other enhancements. Alexa Bliss has yet to hit back at suggestions that her career is over. After it was reported that she is currently out with a shoulder injury, Bliss has suffered a number of injuries over the past year, which led to sites like Ringside News Garbage posing the question on Twitter as to whether she would think about retiring. Now, Alexa caught wind of this tweet and replied, like she always does because she has nothing better to do. With all the recent injuries Alexa Bliss has suffered, do you think it's time for her to cut back on the amount of dates or step down from being an active wrestler? and I use that term active wrestler very loosely, Alexa Bliss replied, maybe try cutting back on the pointless stories and stop worrying about my career. It's just fine. End quote. Folks, Alexa Bliss is not injured. Alexa Bliss does not have shoulder surgery. She has done nothing to injure her shoulder in any way. What did she do? She went out to get more said surgery to enhance her appearance for the blonde agenda that is currently running rampant in WWE. That's it. I have nothing more to say. Is her career over? I wish. She adds no value to the women's division. Speaking of adding no value to WWE television, Elias, zero value. His contract is expiring soon. I have not even noticed he's been off TV. Have you? I haven't. Now, Elias, his contract is up. According to Fightful Select, Elias and his current deal is set to expire in 2020. Goodbye. Although they were unable to specify exactly when in 2020. Now, there hasn't been any rumors suggesting Elias is unhappy, and given, obviously, his subpar wrestling ability, I don't believe that he's actually one of those guys that people are talking about as a main roster, main talent. The guy sucks. Nothing more than a novelty act and a joke with a guitar. And his act is completely fucking stale. I mean, it was cool for the first couple of months. We were all like, oh my God, this guy's generating real fucking heat as a heel. Did WWE capitalize on that? Absolutely not. They kept the gag going for fucking 2 years until it was like, Jesus Christ, get this guy off fucking television. Guy's a loser. Elias is a loser. Now, there hasn't been any rumor that he's unhappy. I don't see him signing anywhere else. I mean, he's got the fucking greatest job on the planet. He does nothing, and he gets paid to do nothing. He gets paid to sit in the ring, act like a fool, play some shitty guitar notes on an acoustic guitar, and then get in the ring and really not do anything, and be led to a hopeful, semi-decent match with a much superior opponent. That's Elias for you. That's Elias in a nutshell. He does nothing. So, if he's going anywhere, I would be absolutely shocked. Why would he go anywhere where, if he had to go anywhere, he'd actually have to work? And I doubt he could take the gimmick with him. So Elias is staying in the WWE, just like Randy Orton was staying in the WWE, and we all knew Randy Orton was staying in the WWE. Elias is going nowhere. So that is that. Randy Orton, speaking of which, signs a multi-year extension with the WWE. It was reported by PW Insider, not Ryan Satin, on WWE Backstage. Randy Orton has signed a new 5-year contract with the E. He says this on Twitter, and I quote, the 3 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment, #RKO. Just re-signed with the 3 most dominant letters in sports entertainment, #WWE. Looking forward to pissing off the WWE Universe for the next 5 more years. #WWE Backstage, @FS1, @WWE. End quote. So clearly, Randy Orton and his trolling netted him a major contract, because I don't think anybody in the company were worried that he was going anywhere. I wasn't worried that he was going anywhere. I would have much rather seen him in AEW, but Randy Orton is a lifer, and he was merely trolling. He was merely getting the ball rolling on Vince McMahon offering him a deal that he could not refuse. He knew what he wanted to do, he knew where he wanted to stay, and he knew the amount of money that he wanted, and he knew by teasing it and being photographed with Jericho and interacting with Jericho on social media and Cody and calling Cody a great friend and saying I would love to go to AEW and wrestle CM Punk if that was the dream, or praising Sammy Guevara. You don't think WWE picked up on that? Of course. Randy Orton did that strategically because he knew that if he did, he would get a contract, and a great one at that. Randy Orton was never going anywhere. Randy Orton is a lifer. Hopefully they book him correctly in the next 5 years, because Randy Orton seems to be going right back down that road where he is, to me, not exciting. He was much exciting as a heel, not so much as a babyface. So, obviously, Vince McMahon gave him all this amount of money to keep him away from AEW, keep him in the WWE. He's definitely one of the faces of that company. The man was making upwards towards $4 million already in WWE. It was something around 3 point something million. So, rounded up to a $4 million this guy was making. This guy is probably making fucking God knows how much money more than the original $4 million he was making. Randy Orton is living the life. He's got those 5-6 kids he's got to take care of. He could go on vacation every fucking week with his wife if he wants to. There you go. Who knows the schedule that they gave him? They probably gave him the same, if not less, than what he's doing now. Who's better than Randy Orton? Awesome. Triple H actually chimed in on this as well with Randy Orton resigning. I'm glad to put the rumors to rest. They know. For almost 2 decades, Randy Orton has been a cornerstone of WWE, and Randy Orton will remain a cornerstone of WWE for a long time. There you go. Randy Orton was never going anywhere, so he is with the WWE for the next 5 years. Randy Orton, speaking of which, he went to Vince McMahon personally and had an idea for a storyline that Vince turned down. You're going to turn down Randy Orton. Vince turned down Randy Orton. Now, during his feud with Kofi Kingston over the WWE title, Randy Orton recruited the Revival. We all thought that it worked. We all thought that it looked good on television. The pair continued to work together on TV in the weeks that followed. The trio went their separate ways after Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston's feud finished. Randy Orton got drafted to Monday Night Raw, and the Revival stayed on SmackDown. Now, many people were fond of the Randy Orton and Revival faction. The Revival finally felt somewhat important while standing next to Randy Orton, who is a WWE future Hall of Famer and a multi-time world champion. Any hopes of the faction reuniting in the near future will have been squashed because the draft split them up. Randy Orton, like I said, to Raw, and Dash and Dawson went to SmackDown, who just lost the tag team titles to the New Day on SmackDown this past Friday. Glad I love the Survivor Series, man. We all wanted that triple threat tag team match with the War Raiders and Undisputed Era and the Revival. WWE knew we were excited about it. What they do? They changed it. They changed it because we wanted it, and they said, fuck the fans, and they changed it, adding the New Day to it. So this is coming from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com. He's reporting that Orton pitched the idea of the faction staying together for much longer to Vince McMahon. The report notes that McMahon rejected the idea for some reason. For some reason. I know the reason. And the trio were split in the WWE draft. Sean Ross Sapp says this, and I quote, "We're told by multiple sources that Orton pushed to do more work with them, even going as far as pitching a faction to Vince McMahon personally. The idea fell on deaf ears, and Orton and the Revival were put on different brands in the WWE draft." End quote. Why did this idea from Randy Orton, a fucking cornerstone, a face of this company, get turned down by Vince McMahon himself? Because Vince McMahon doesn't like the Revival. Vince McMahon knows the Revival haven't signed those 5-year deals that are still waiting on the table. Thus, we got them losing the tag team championships on SmackDown. They're no longer paired with Randy Orton. Now they're going to go back to irrelevancy. The only reason why they were paired with Randy Orton in the first place, the only reason why they were the tag team champions on SmackDown in the first place, was to entice them to sign the deal. Now, they look in the crystal ball. They knew what was coming. This was what was in the crystal ball. Now it's happening in real life. And they still haven't signed those contracts. So I'm glad that they didn't. Why didn't the Revival and Randy Orton stay together? Because Vince McMahon knows the Revival isn't staying with the WWE, so he's not going to give them anything worthwhile while they're still there. WWE fucked over the Revival because they didn't sign those contracts, and WWE only paired them with Randy Orton and gave them the titles again in the first place, was to entice them to stay. No amount of money is going to keep these guys there. They're good as gone. And if they stay, I have lost all respect for Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. I'm not going to respect them ever again. Because they need, more than anybody, to be out and go where tag team wrestling is thriving. And that is AEW. Velveteen Dream. He's out till 2020. I don't think NXT needs him, but I love me some Velveteen Dream. According to Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dream is genuinely hurt and will at least be missing the Survivor Series on November 24th. Obviously, Survivor Series is where NXT will be competing against Raw and SmackDown for the first time. General Manager William Regal has commented that it will take some time before we see the Velveteen Dream back in the ring on NXT. Meltzer reports that he will likely be right back at the end of 2019 or at the start of 2020, which is a huge blow to NXT, but I think they are very comfortable where they are. They have more than enough resources to make up for the Velveteen Dream missing, and I just want him to get better because after that match with Roddy, I think he got hurt more so. I think he was hurt going into that. But after that match, they wrote a storyline for him to be out. They attacked him, sneak attack, in the parking lot or in the loading dock area on NXT, and he's now out till 2020. Don't know what's going to happen with him. Don't know where he's going to fit, but I could assume he's going to come back for his North American Championship, as the main event in NXT is definitely shaping up to be very nice with Ciampa, Adam Cole, possibly Matt Riddle, Johnny Gargano, Finn Balor. Should be good, man. Should be exciting. Dream's going to be out till 2020. Let's talk about this, man. I am going to do something that I have not done so in a very long time on this show, and that is defend Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, at the beginning of the week, as soon as we got into Monday Night Raw, it was reported that he led an awkward backstage meeting before Monday Night Raw. Now, morale in the locker room, I could assume. I don't need to hear it from a source. I don't need to hear it from a WWE talent. They could lie through their teeth. I know they're lying. Seth Rollins led a it should have been backwards. Everything Seth Rollins does is backwards. An awkward backstage meeting before Raw. Morale in the locker room is at some of the lowest it's ever been. And that is following the trip to Saudi Arabia. Many WWE stars are said to be frustrated with the statement that the company released regarding the long travel delays, with a few stars reportedly unwilling to return to the country anytime soon in the near future. Now, there was a Reddit user by the name of Toy Story 6, could be somebody internally with the WWE, I don't know. He reported before Monday Night Raw in New York City on Monday that Seth Rollins led an awkward backstage meeting to address the speculation about the reason for the long travel delay. They said this before Raw on Monday, and I quote on Reddit. A meeting was held before Raw to discuss wrestler issues during and after the Saudi trip. Talent relations discussed speculation by wrestlers on social media that created a dilemma for the company. Wrestlers were assured it was a mechanical issue. Wrestlers were discouraged from speculation about the issues. Vince McMahon and the Prince rumored argument was not discussed. Seth spoke to the talent. He was said to be awkward in speaking to the talent, attempting to unify the locker room. Lots of talk about how every wrestler is part of a team and encouraged keeping grievances and speculations off social media. Yeah, he should really fucking just honor his own word. He should really look in the fucking mirror. Encouraged to keep grievances and speculations off social media. He should fucking adhere to his own statement, because he has not done anywhere close to that. Some felt Seth was being led into this position, and it was forced upon him, and it doesn't fit him, and he's not comfortable with it. End quote. That's what was stated by Toy Story 6, fucking Buzz Lightyear over here, on Reddit. Now, the meeting has been seemingly confirmed at this point by Dave Meltzer. We're going to go in chronological order here. Dave Meltzer confirmed that Rollins spoke at this meeting on that particular episode of the Wrestling Observer Radio. Meltzer does note that Vince McMahon was also present at the meeting and spoke to talent. This is what Meltzer said. And I quote, "So Vince called a meeting at 3 p.m. in New York. Only the Raw crew was there and nobody said anything, basically, for the most part. So this is the way I was told it was explained. It was explained that nothing is wrong. Everything is fine. It was a mechanical problem and that's it. There's nothing more to say, just mechanical problems. I know people who are so vehement that that statement is not true, and after meeting, and ever since that was originally said, that is the story. It's what they told the guys. I think the guys that don't believe it were real mad, and the guys who were willing to accept it, accepted it." Again, I'm going to reiterate what I said on the last time I did an off the script, which was that Monday. The talent was never held hostage. The talent was never detained by the military in Saudi Arabia. The talent was let off the plane, from what I was told personally. Let off the plane, led back to the hotel room, were given top tier fucking they were taken care of. Top tier everything. Hotel suites, buffet, food, free everything. They were taken care of while their plane was being worked on. Or they got another plane to fly them out. When everything was right, they flew on out. It's not like they were in dire trouble. They went back to the hotel. They were given the finest of everything. And that was it. And the flight that was paid. The flight that was paid for by WWE. None of the wrestlers pooled together money of their own to fly out. And just based off that, if the military got involved, then how do you expect 20 fucking people on a charter flight after that fly out? They wouldn't have allowed anybody to leave. So WWE paid for a chartered flight that was only able to hold 20 people. WWE paid for this. WWE chose 20 people off of that flight to fly on this charter flight to get to SmackDown, which they never made anyway. They never made SmackDown. So the people who were complaining about it, did you see Randy Orton complaining about it? Did you see AJ Styles complaining about it? Did you see Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins complaining about it? I didn't hear them complaining about it. The only people that complained were the people who normally complain. Those who were complaining are the people who were frustrated with their position in the company. Those who were complaining didn't want to be there to begin with. Those who were complaining were used sparingly in a 1 minute, 2 minute segment on a show to travel 17 hours to get to, and they were frustrated on top of being frustrated. That's what happened. WWE chose 20 handpicked people to go to SmackDown, which they never made. Vince had flown out hours before that. He made SmackDown. Triple H made SmackDown. Who knows who was part of that 20? Who knows? I don't give a shit who was a part of that 20. All I know is it's not as big of a deal that social media and everybody made it. That's exactly what happened. Whether you want to believe the mechanical issues or not, that's on you. I believe it. I believe it. Moving on. The company blamed talent speculation for causing a problem. The talent was told flight issues were mechanical issues and nothing more. And Seth Rollins attempted to do a rah-rah speech while telling people to keep things like this off social media in the future. Seth Rollins should keep himself off social media, period. There were rumored to be a disagreement, or several disagreements with WWE and the Saudi Arabians about money. This reportedly led Vince McMahon cutting their feed of Crown Jewel and delaying it by 45 minutes. Dave Meltzer noted on the Wrestling Observer Radio that during the meeting, Vince McMahon said the Saudi Arabians wanted their feed of Crown Jewel to get cut. To get cut. Now, we don't know when it got cut. Could have been cut because there were some people, even though some agreed to have the women wrestle. And I mentioned this again. It's very bizarre that these minor issues were happening with the women finally competing on that show. Nobody knows when it was cut. For 45 minutes, they could have cut out that segment with the women. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. You weren't there. Could have been that. Nobody knows when it was cut. Vince said that the Saudi Arabians asked for this to be cut, and it was delayed by 45 minutes. Quoted from Dave Meltzer. Vince McMahon said, "Now, I was told the reason for the television show not airing was because of a technical issue. Vince told the talent that the reason we're talking about Crown Jewel not airing live in Saudi Arabia, it aired on a 45-minute delay. Vince told the talent that was a decision made by Saudi Arabia to delay it by 40 minutes. So it could have been at the start of the show. Who knows? Who knows? That's what he said in the meeting." End quote. Now, with Roman Reigns on SmackDown, it is clear that Seth Rollins has been chosen by default as the locker room leader on Raw. However, it appears that WWE stars were afraid to question the matter, as, again, Toy Story 6 on Reddit notes that despite being offered the chance to ask questions, nobody backstage was willing to speak up. So if you want to do all the bitching and complaining on social media to get the company's attention, there you got the company standing right in front of you. Where are your balls then? Oh, that's right, you all cower in fear when Vince McMahon is standing in front of you. But it's okay for you to vent on social media about your frustrations when he's in the fucking air. That's why I respect nobody. You're all upset, yet you don't want to speak up when the time calls for it. Nothing changes, and this is why. This is why nothing changes in the company. This is why nothing changes with the TV show. You're all fucking pussies. You all walk on eggshells, and this proved it. Talent were given the chance to ask questions, says Toy Story 6. And I was told that the situation felt unresolved. Many are tired and burnt out. This is certainly not good news for WWE right now. The company has just announced an extension to their current deal with Saudi Arabia, which they announced willingly on social media. Meltzer says this on the Observer Live. Former WWE champion Randy Orton tried to make a joke about it during the meeting to lighten the mood. Yeah, this is a guy coming off a great 5-year contract, and God knows how much money. They asked for questions if anyone had any questions, and nobody had questions. Randy Orton sort of said something, but he basically tried to make a joke to lighten the mood. End quote. Meltzer also notes that Rusev also said something during the meeting. However, there is no word on exactly what the former United States champion said. He says, and I quote, Rusev actually did say something, but he didn't ask any questions. Seth talked, but I guess he's really mad at me over that. Again, going in chronological order, at this point, Meltzer thinks that Rollins did speak at this. Now, Meltzer is clearly having some fun after Rollins had another angry Twitter rant at him following Raw. In the main event, it was Seth Rollins defeating Adam Cole via DQ after the rest of the Undisputed Era ran down and attacked Seth Rollins, causing that big scuffle at the end of Raw. Following the show, Rollins took to Twitter to praise Cole. He also said that this won't be the last time they go head-to-head with the NXT champion. Or he goes head-to-head with the NXT champion. Rollins' Twitter activity for the evening did not stop at that tweet against Adam Cole or speaking highly of Adam Cole. In a seemingly random tweet, Seth decided to shoot on Dave Meltzer. He says, and I quote, and lastly, at Dave Meltzer, WON, on Twitter, you're the best. You're at your best when you're a purveyor of misinformation or at worst, an outright vindictive liar. I hope it's the former. Hashtag rah rah. So there's no word on why Rollins decided to speak his mind on Meltzer completely out of the blue after Raw. Rollins obviously did not help himself because people were defending Dave on this. Nobody's really siding with Rollins because of his prior just situations on social media. So over the recent months, fans have just completely become disenfranchised with Seth Rollins and his Twitter activity, his Twitter rants, his ridiculous comments in the public, just sucking WWE corporate dick and the creative direction. Everybody's that blame. The fans are to blame. He blamed this guy. This is the guy that legitimately blamed the fans for the Hell in a Cell ending. Someone should really take control of his Twitter account, and somebody needs to talk to Becky to take his fucking phone away. I said this last week. Now, after arriving in the U.S., Carl Anderson took to Twitter to say that he would never return to Saudi Arabia before adding that he might be convinced if he could buy another pool for his family. According to Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Triple H called Anderson out on his comment that he stated on Twitter. He says, and I quote, the meeting was about to wrap up and Paul Levesque called out Carl Anderson for making a remark on Twitter about who is going to be the locker room leader on Monday. Because Carl Anderson mentioned on Twitter, well, who's going to be the locker room leader on Monday? That's what he said on Twitter. So Anderson didn't say much of anything. The situation with Anderson was that besides that remark, he tried to be funny by teasing the idea that he was mad and wouldn't go back, only to joke about it, saying that he needed another pool for his family. So who did speak before the meeting? Who did speak before this meeting? Before Vince McMahon and Triple H took over? Now, WrestleVotes confirms that Seth Rollins did not speak during the meeting, during Raw. This was apparent since Seth Rollins buried Dave Meltzer on social media saying that he did not speak at this meeting. And it's also reported that one person who did speak at the meeting was AJ Styles. AJ Styles is said to be very well respected, and his opinions backstage matter. He says on Twitter, WrestleVotes does, or they say, and I quote, this Dave Meltzer Seth Rollins stuff is funny. Dave is reporting Rollins spoke at the talent meeting held prior to Raw yesterday. He didn't. However, AJ Styles did. He spoke up and shared his thoughts according to his source. AJ is very well respected backstage, and his voice matters, end quote. Now, Rollins is firing back at Dave Meltzer after it was reported that he gave a speech at the WWE talent meeting that took place before Raw to address the rumors surrounding the travel delay in Saudi Arabia after Thursday's Crown Jewel show. Rollins says he did not give a speech and he did not say anything before, after, or during the meeting. Rollins' statements contradict what was reported by more than one source. The news about the talent meeting first surfaced in a Reddit post by Toy Story 6, who has been credited for breaking stories in the past. This is the first I'm hearing of this guy. Don't know who he is. Don't know that he was around, or I didn't know he was around. But according to this particular news article, he's broken some stories in the past. Meltzer wrote about the talent meeting hours after Reddit had posted it with Toy Story 6. So either the two people who are in this thing were fed bad information, or someone is not telling the truth. Rollins' tweet. This is what Rollins said. No, Dave. My problem is that you're spreading complete lies. I gave no speech. I said nothing before, during, or after the meeting. So either you or your source is full of it. Either way, it's a bold-faced lie, and I kindly ask you to quit pushing it, meaning pushing his own agenda. So that was what he said. And Dave Meltzer replied back to Rollins, very sorry on this. I don't want to spread misinformation. End quote. So what do I think about all this? I'm glad that they had a meeting. I don't know how well the meeting went. I do think, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the talent right now is at the lowest morale that it could possibly be, just based off the Saudi Arabian thing and people not wanting to go back over there, and it's going to be more worrisome when it does come time to go back over there. The quality of television shows, WWE is suffering right now through many different aspects. The TV shows are so bad. Hopefully this NXT injection could, I guess, entice some enthusiasm, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the case. It's going to go right back to being the dead, fucking dreadful, lifeless show that it is, and they feel it. They feel it. It's as if they're waking up and they're hating their jobs. There's nothing fulfilling to look forward to. And yes, we've shit on Rollins. And yes, Rollins is a clown. And yes, he deserves to be shit on for the comments that he's made. And he's been a terrible leader. He's been a terrible champion. He's just god-awful and everything. And he doesn't like the fans. He shit on the fans on the Corey Graves After the Bell podcast. I don't need some fucking idiot on YouTube to tell me that he's shitting on the fans. He shit on the fans personally on a WWE podcast that is clickbaited to make you think that the truth is going to be revealed. He shits on the fans. We know that. You need to listen to that, and that's all you need. He shit on everybody who shit on the Hell in a Cell, blaming the fans for the ending. And blaming the fans, well, I became the guy that they wanted me to be, and now they're turning their backs against me. Do a better job. Speak up. Have creative write something better for you. You're the man. You've used no part of your voice to voice your fucking frustration on how shitty this product is. Stop defending garbage. Whether you're in there or not, stop defending it. The fans are not stupid. They're going to see right through you. And that's going to equal no respect when you speak publicly on a social media platform. Do I back Seth Rollins in this case? Yes. Yes. Who do I believe? Do I believe Dave Meltzer or do I believe WrestleVotes? I believe WrestleVotes. I'm not going to shit on Seth Rollins here. If Rollins came out not once, but twice to say to Dave Meltzer, I did not speak at the meeting. Now, we don't know if they're telling the truth or not. We're not going to tell. We're not going to know if they tell the truth in any situation. But if he didn't speak, and there are multiple sources saying that he didn't speak, then I guess we have to believe him. We really can't shit on him for that. So Rollins is doing nothing. He's doing nothing more than defending himself against lies, which also could lead to him being frustrated and him being at the point of completely breaking, because this could have been the one thing that threw him over the edge. What if he did speak? What if he did speak, and then he did really give a rah-rah speech that went completely downhill to the rest of the WWE roster? So he wants to voice his opinion to the WWE roster. It failed miserably, and Meltzer was reporting this. That could have been the thing to break him. So this is nothing more than Seth Rollins already being frustrated because he knows he's trash on social media, defending himself that he did not speak to Dave Meltzer. Please stop spreading lies and pushing your own agenda. I did not speak. That's all you need to do. Take it at Seth Rollins' value. He did not speak. He's defending himself on social media. Finally, he used social media in a way that not only is right, but he's using it in his own light to make himself look like the good guy here, instead of coming off and looking like a fucking complete fool. I believe Rollins in this case. I'm going to back him up. He was merely defending himself against lies and misinterpretation. You have every right to do that just as much as I and you have every right. He does. Every right to do that. Simple. Nothing more to the story. Guys, we're going to take one more break for beer, and then I'll be back with one more story. I want to clear everything up about this Jordan Miles situation. And I want to apologize for some who might have thought I was a little bit insensitive about the entire situation. We're going to take another round of beer, and I'll be right back to conclude this episode 299 of Off the Script. All right, guys, I got 3 more, and these look very good. These might be the highest in alcohol content in the entire box, and there's one in particular that I cannot wait to try. This is it, man. Tavour, remember, Tavour.com. Use code SCRIPT At checkout, you guys are going to get a $10 credit if you spend $25 or more and devise your own box of perfectly brewed independent craft beer, man. Show them some support. Follow them on social media. You guys know where to find them. At Tavor on Twitter. This one is called Heathen Brewing 2015. Oh my goodness. This one is called Reindeer Tears. Look at that. Look at that. I should come up with a beer that has Seth Rollins tears. I think that would taste fantastic, man. I gotta come up with a nice flavor profile on that one. This one is an American barley wine. I love me some barley wines. Aged in bourbon barrels. This one is a 12% alcohol by volume. And this is a 22 fluid ounce. Brewed in Vancouver, Washington. I love the branding on this label, man. You got an evil Santa Claus with a branding stick with the fucking devil on it. And then you see the reindeer crying. That's me during Monday Night Raw when Seth Rollins comes on. Or that's Seth Rollins himself on social media. I can't wait to try this one, man. I never heard of this one before. I could imagine this one is going to be slightly harsh on the palate. But I love me a good barley wine. I hate Bronx Brewery. I do. I think anything associated with the Bronx is fucking garbage. Especially the Mets. Oh, not the Mets are in Queens. I guess it's not that far from the Bronx. I don't want to say anything bad about the Yankees because they didn't win the World Series. So I'll keep my comments to myself. You Yankee fans out there. I'm no better. I'm a fucking Braves fan. This one's called Jingle Jangle. Obviously, it's a Christmas beer. 6.1% alcohol by volume. Bronx Brewery. This is part of the Up and Comers series. So that's that. Bronx Brewery. It's a Christmas ale. I might save this for the holidays, man. Might save this for the holidays. What does this say? There's a little note here. Born in the Bronx, lived to create the Bronxer. Born in the Bronx and influenced by his Dominican background, the Bronxer developed a taste for design, art, and photography. After graduating with a degree in graphics design and photography at Bronx Community College, his goal is to show the world the Bronx raw beauty, one creative piece at a time. I guess that's that. That's the inspiration for the beer. This is aged. Jingle Jangle is aged with Amburana wood. This holiday ale is a little sweet with a little spice, a little naughty, and a little nice. Not really doing it with the description there, bro. We'll see. Like I said, everything in the Bronx sucks. Finally, guys, we got this one, which is a McKellar Brewing beer, which I love McKellar. There's a McKellar Brewery outside of Citi Field that I absolutely love, man. They are awesome. Food is great. Beer is great. Beer selection's out of this world. Love it. If you guys are at or near Citi Field, McKellar Brewery. It's outside the stadium. This one is Logsden, a McKellar Brewing beer, San Diego, 7.3 alcohol, Stems and Stones, oak-aged wild ale. So this one is a collaborative blend with guest blender Daniel Caddy of McKellar Brewing, San Diego. After pursuing our barrel cave and tasting through some of our projects, a blend was composed of 1.5-year-old spontaneously fermented sour ale casks, which aged in equal parts 1-second use Syrah grapes and yummy Biot plums. Never heard of any of this stuff before, but it sounds good. The resulting beer is a pleasing shade of orange with medium acid and subtle aromas of bubble gum and stone fruit. The bright wild flavors of our spontaneous culture mingle with the juicy plums and the peppery Syrah grapes, creating an exceptionally sippable wild ale. For best results, chill at least 24 hours before opening and enjoy in a proper glass, which I always do. If you're not drinking your beer out of a glass, you're a clown. Folks, that is Tavor. That is my second round of beer. If you enjoyed any of this, man, Tavor.com. Make sure you guys use code SCRIPT for a $10 credit towards $25 or more on your purchase. Gonna be awesome, but they're gonna be with me. Hopefully they send me another case. I don't know if I'm gonna go through all this stuff in one sitting. Clearly not. I'm not an alcoholic. But throughout the month, definitely through Thanksgiving, definitely maybe we'll get something for December. Guys, Tavor.com. Hit them up and support Off the Script. Let's close the podcast out, man. Let's close the podcast out with this one story here on Jordan Myles. Now, I did not report on Jordan Myles after the fact. I initially kind of ranted on the initial rant that he went on over the t-shirt. Now, Jordan Myles is an NXT superstar, if you guys are not aware. He was formerly ACH, coming out of Ring of Honor and working on the Indies. And there is a report going around that this mistake was reportedly genuine with the t-shirt, but Jordan Myles didn't get his career with the company off in the greatest way. Now, according to reports, a source in the WWE had this to say about Jordan Myles' tweets on what he perceived as racially insensitive merchandise created for him. Was it a genuine mistake? Yes. Will they apologize? Maybe. Will he ever succeed in the company after this incident? No. So, in an official statement from WWE, they explained that Jordan Myles collaborated to create his t-shirt design, which was also approved by Myles before it went out. That's not always the case. I know there was an incident with the Forgotten Sons where they complained on social media that they had no idea that a t-shirt was coming out. And they complained, well, it would be nice for us to let our fans know and maybe we can make some extra revenue from the t-shirt, but we didn't have any idea that the t-shirt's been out. And they first seen it when they browsed WWE.com. We didn't know. So clearly, it's not always the case. Maybe for the upper tier guys, but guys like Jordan Myles and guys like the Forgotten Sons who have yet to pay their due, or at least on TV, no. Definitely not. Now, it was removed. It was taken down. They say, WWE in an official statement, Albert Hardy Jr., a.k.a. Jordan Myles, approved this t-shirt for sale. As always, we work collaboratively with all of our performers to develop logos and merchandise designs and get their input and approval before proceeding. It's not always the case. It's false. Now, this was the same process with Albert, and we responded swiftly once he later requested that the logo t-shirt be redesigned. No t-shirts were sold. WWE then said that Myles collaborated with them on the idea for his merchandise, and he also approved it. Now, Myles is speaking out about about how he felt uncomfortable about the situation. He also says that Baker Landon lied to his face. I guess this is a guy in the WWE shop department. He says, and I quote, "When I originally saw the design, I was uncomfortable. Rather than addressing the issue, I decided to counter-offer with another. Baker Landon lied to my face. He said Triple H wanted this design, so my hands were tied. I spoke with Triple H in person, and the impression was I approved." Now, he goes on to say, "I am far from perfect. I'm willing to do anything for my job, or the job of my dreams, to make things work for both parties. I only agreed to the shirt because it was shown to me in a white color, on a white t-shirt. Once placed on a black t-shirt, you can clearly see the racist intentions." End quote. Now, Myles took it a step further after that. He tweeted, "WWE doesn't care about black people," in a video, and he flipped the middle finger. He gave the bird. He obviously deleted this and took it down. Myles said the whole WWE system is based on fraud. You're supposed to be able to trust people, and then you end up growing apart from what you love the most. He also used Hulk Hogan and his return to the WWE as fodder for his argument. The whole WWE system is a fraud. They created this system where you can't trust anyone, you grow cold, and you grow apart from what you love most. That's true. I'm not going to even disagree with him on that. I could see it. I'm not even in the company. I'm not even a wrestler. I see it. The fact that Hulk Hogan is still employed after giving the locker room an apology for being caught says enough. Hashtag for the culture. He didn't stop. Fuck Ring of Honor, too. They only allowed one African-American to be the top guy, like Cedric Alexander, TD, and Malcolm Bevins. And myself had to chase the visible or invisible carrot. And he named fucking Jay Lethal in this situation. He included a picture of Jay Lethal and called him Uncle Tom. He says, "Name another African-American who reached great heights in Ring of Honor other than this Uncle Tom." And then put a picture of Jay Lethal on his Twitter wall with this statement. Now, Jay Lethal was in the hospital because he broke his arm overseas in a Ring of Honor show, so he didn't know what the fuck was going on. He's in the hospital laid up with a broken arm trying to recover, and this guy's calling him Uncle Tom. Dave Meltzer discussed this situation on The Observer and said that he upset a lot of people by doing what he did. He certainly hasn't shown himself in great light, and what he said about Jay Lethal, I don't know. If he played his cards better, I mean, there's a lot of people in WWE who are very angry at him right now, and understandably so. So, Myles then released a statement on his official Instagram account concerning this event, and he apologized for the tweets that he sent out. Now, after saying that they were unprofessional and disrespectful, Miles explained how his anger has fueled him, but he wanted to take the time to show remorse for how he handled things and the situation. My tweets from yesterday were completely disrespectful, he says in this Instagram post. I have offended a ton of people and used anger to fuel me. With that being said, I'd like to take this time to state an apology for not giving a shit about what others think of me. The anger I have inside me has been built up over years now. Call me what you want, but you'll never be able to call me fake. I've been lied to, used, and often mistreated by others who I view as associates. I've tiptoed around, kept quiet, even looked in some directions and taken some L's when necessary. Emotionally charged up due to the shirt which triggered past emotions. I'm never going to be sorry for being me, nor will I ever take back my words. Good on that. I'm the same way. Everybody should be the same way. I'm the damn professional wrestler, or the best damn professional wrestler in the world, he says. He's misquoted. That's why I'm messing up my speech here. I'm the damn professional wrestler in the world and universe today, meaning he forgot the best damn professional wrestler in the world today, which, I mean, he's great, but I don't think he's the best in the world. My ribs are touching, and I'm tired of waiting. Time to snatch plates from those who have been eating far too long and always get seconds, while guys like myself have to eat crumbs off the floor like an unwanted child. For 4 years, I gave my all to a promotion only to find out that I could only reach so high just as long as I didn't surpass certain people. I've never begged for anything. I've never kissed no ass, nor did I rub elbows with the right people to get ahead. I hustled, worked hard. I didn't call Hunter every day to get booked in Japan. Shout out to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I've earned it. I've always wanted to be the guy. And if no one will allow me to be in that spot, I shall blaze my own trail to that spot rather than be approved by others or not. Today, I shall continue to go the distance. Today, I shall be moving forward. He has a lot of typos in this thing. Today, I shall rise up from my past ashes like the Dark Phoenix and promote change in this industry. Remember these words: I am the best in the world, and no man or woman will stop me from being honest. Go the distance. Hashtag miles ahead. I see what you did there. And hashtag for the culture. Now, I still think he overreacted. He has absolutely every right to be upset. Any person in that situation with the prior knowledge to it and just obviously how he's been treated from what he described, obviously anybody would have seen it. I do think, after I did some research, my point stands. I still think he overreacted just a little bit and kind of ruined his fucking place in the company. I don't think they're ever going to book this guy. I don't think they're going to push him. You know, it'd be nice if it turns into a storyline, but I doubt it. You know, WWE wanted to sweep this thing under the rug immediately, get this guy fucking silenced. Apparently he's out on medical leave. He's not injured, but I believe he's taking care of himself mentally, which is a step in the right direction. But I still think that he overreacted. He has every right to feel. In some instances, people like you and I, we might feel the same way as him. You know, through hard work. We never kiss ass. We never go out there and beg for something. So I do appreciate and respect that aspect of it. But, you know, maybe he's just not cut out for WWE. I don't even know why he signed with the WWE to begin with, to be perfectly honest with you. The WWE is not for guys like him. I mean, you could just look at that. It has nothing to do with his skin color either. Like, that should already be prior knowledge. Vince is a racist. We all know this. But WWE never pushes predominantly black wrestlers. Just look at what they did with Cedric. Cedric should be a fucking world champion with the way he goes. Never going to be a world champion. Apollo Crews, wasted for 3 years. You know? It's unreal. And I understand that aspect. Even after I did research on everything regarding this t-shirt design and what it looked like, I still think he overreacted a little bit. Not saying that he can't feel how he feels. Can't sit here and say that he shouldn't have ranted on social media. He did what he did because he thought it was best in the moment. And it ultimately fucked his career to a point where he may never be seen on NXT again. Now, I did some research on this, and I want to apologize for being somewhat misinformed or uninformed in this situation because I don't have a racist bone in my body. And I didn't know of this, and, you know, you could place the blame on me, but I don't really go out there and research, you know, racist culture or things that they did back in the day and, you know, it had racial overtones to it. I don't really concern myself with that because I look at everybody as equal. So I'm not going to really go out there. Yeah, I should be a little bit more knowledgeable and up to date on things, but it is what it is, man. I was misinformed or uninformed. Now, I looked at it, and the t-shirt design did resemble blackface. And blackface isn't just about painting one's skin darker or putting on a costume. It invokes a racist and painful history. The origins of blackface date back to the minstrel shows of the mid-19th century. White performers darkened their skin with polish and cork, put on tattered clothing, and exaggerated their features to look stereotypically black. The first minstrel shows mimicked enslaved Africans in southern plantations, depicting black people as lazy, ignorant, cowardly, and hypersexual, according to the Smithsonian's Natural Museum of African-American Natural History and Culture. Their performances were intended to be funny to white audiences, but to the black community they were demeaningful and hurtful. One of the more popular blackface characters was Jim Crow, developed by performer and playwright Thomas Dartmouth Rice. As part of a traveling solo act, Rice wore a burnt cork blackface mask and ragged clothing, spoke in stereotypical black vernacular, and performed a caricatured song and dance routine that he said he learned from a slave, according to the University of South Florida Library. So that's that. So now that I have updated myself on the situation, I want to apologize to everybody that thought I was coming off insensitive. I didn't know. And I don't go out there and actively seek these things. And I was not taught that when I went to school. Now, whether you think I should have known that by now or known that, that's on you. I don't really concern myself with this type of stuff, because I don't really meddle in that type of thing. But I do understand why he was upset. I don't blame him for being upset. Did he go about it the wrong way? Yeah, he went about it the wrong way, because now he ultimately fucked himself over, and we all are looking out for his career. You know, he let his emotions get the best of him. Hopefully he can move past this. Hopefully WWE recognizes the talent that he is, and he can get back on TV. Like Leo Rush did his thing. He waited 6 months, and they brought him back, and now he's Cruiserweight Champion. Maybe the same thing can happen for Albert Hardy Jr., ACH, Jordan Miles. So I want to apologize to everybody. That's that. And he's been still on social media saying that WWE's going to pay, and he's going to fucking have his voice heard, whatever. I don't know what that's turning into. Don't know if he said anything since, but that's the latest on ACH, Jordan Miles, and this entire situation. But I wanted to come on here and explain that to you guys, that I did some research on it. I apologize to those that I might have made upset, or, you know, who thought I came off a little insensitive. So there you go. So that's the latest on the Jordan Miles situation. Guys, I'm getting out of here because one of these beers is calling my name. I think that Berry Unnecessary is calling my name. So I got to put that in the freezer, make it chill, and I'm going to have one during AEW tonight. But thank you guys so very much for all your support here on Off the Script. Again, Tavor.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for $10 off, $25 or more. Harrys.com/script for your $13 value trial set. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week. Tons of it. So make sure you guys go down there and check everything out. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be back live tonight for AEW. I'll be on Twitter live tweeting during the show. Follow me there. Full Gear tonight. We'll go over the entire show in the official review. And Patreon. Patreon.com/JD from NY206 if you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon over there. Thank you guys so very much. Again, hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,500 thumbs up. And I will see you guys right back here for AEW Full Gear tonight on pay-per-view. Thank you guys so much. Again, hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of all the news and rumors here on Off the Script. And I'll see you guys tonight for AEW Full Gear.